Hello, Bill Carroll for Zenny62 Media, and here are my predictions for the remaining games in Week 13 for Sunday and Monday. So, two teams that are headed in the wrong direction. The Chargers and Patriots will face each other, and the Patriots are simply a team that has problems everywhere all over the field. The coaching hasn't been great. Their quarterback play has been poor. Their offensive line play has been below that. They have a good running back who has done what he can. They don't have a single receiver that I would trust. The tight end position let them down. Their offense is basically a mess. I think the Patriots somehow will still find a way to score about 13, maybe 17, but I'm guessing 13 points. While the Chargers, I think, get off of what their current doldrums and win by double digits. I think it's a 24-13 win. The over-under is 39.5 apparently, so I guess that's still an under. But I think this is a good, solid, maybe helps right the ship win for the Chargers. The Lions were 8-3, go to New Orleans to face the Saints, and 47 is the over/under. The Lions are expected to win by at least 4. They do have extra rest. They come off a Thanksgiving game, which they lost to Green Bay. The Saints have a lot of injuries at several different positions. They have a run defense that's only 23rd ranked, and the Lions are the 6th best running team in the NFL. I think they will be able to run the football. I think that they will nonetheless be in a real dogfight. I think this will be a 27-24 game, so they don't cover. So I think the Lions win, but do not cover. I think the Saints fight them hard the whole way, and I guess that's a push since the line is 47. So I guess if I had to take the over/under, I'd probably take the under, but I think it'll be right on 47. Falcons, Jets, another couple of teams that are challenged on offense, but I think the Falcons sort of put it together a little bit here. They are expected to win by 2. I think they win by 3, so I would take the Falcons. And 33.5, I think both teams will do a little better on offense than they've done recently. So I think that they'll not blow past, but they'll be past that 33.5 point number. Now, Atlanta's lost 3 games straight up as a road favorite. That's terrifying. But I think that they, for whatever reason, I think that they somehow managed to pull it together a little bit. The Jets are not a great team on offense either. I think, however, their defense lets them down a little bit. I think Atlanta, where big plays tend to go to die, actually get at least one big play in the passing game and one big play in the running game. The running game, big play, might actually come with the quarterback. Watch out for Ritter to bust one. I know he and Heineke have been going back and forth, but I think at some point they realize Ritter's the better option, particularly since what he can give you with his feet. The 2-10 Cardinals versus the Steelers, and they're going to Pittsburgh. This feels like it should be a blowout, but it won't. Know why? Because the Steelers don't blow people out. They just don't do it. Not a thing they do. But 6.5 is the line. I think they just eke out a cover there. I think they get to 7. I think Kyler Murray, who is 15-4-2 against the spread in his career as a road underdog, makes it scary for you. And also, Arizona's defense is better than people think. They have allowed 20 or more points in 9 straight games as a road underdog. And Pittsburgh is starting to find its way now that they've gotten rid of Matt Canada. Eddie Faulkner is going to help them. They did have 421 yards against a very poor Cincinnati defense, but they didn't score a lot of points then either. But I do think they get to at least 24, I think maybe even 27 points. And I think that, they eke out a 7-point win. So I'm seeing like 27-20, somewhere around there. Colts versus Titans. And I've talked about this game a lot. I've thought about this game a lot. Obviously, Zach Moss is going to be getting the load of the running game. I think the passing game actually looks better than it has for a while against the Colts. Tennessee will be up and down. They have some explosive players, but they don't have an explosive offense. Will Levis, of course, is a very young quarterback, and he's going to make rookie quarterback mistakes. Derrick Henry might be sort of towards the end of his run of dominance, but I think he has at least a couple more really good games left in him before he eventually probably moves on to a contender, maybe even a postseason trade. We'll talk about that later. Tennessee wants to run the football, and Indianapolis is the 4th worst in terms of allowing rushing touchdowns. Nonetheless, I still think the Colts, who are only favored by one, I think they win by three, and the over/under is 42.5. I think they barely cover it, but I think it's more like a 23-20 kind of game. And here's a game that fascinates because I think this game's gonna be closer than people think. The line is 9.5 for Dolphins Commanders. I've come by here to tell you this Commanders defense, despite losing some of their better players, is better than you think. And this is a defense that, by the numbers, is the third worst in the league. And Ron Rivera has seized the mantle as defensive play caller. They have struggled to get pressure on quarterbacks, especially once again they've gotten rid of their best pass rushers. Expect to see more blitzing. They are 13-3 as a home underdog. I expect them to not allow the Dolphins to cover. I think that this game's something of a shootout. And say what you want about Sam Howell, they put up points with Sam Howell. The line, once again, for this game is 49, which is a high one. Scares me, but not so much that I won't take the over. I think that this is like a 31-24 kind of game. And like I said, the Dolphins win, but not in the convincing manner people are expecting. Broncos-Texans, right, 2 6-5 teams. Here we go. Now we're having fun. The Texans are favored by 3. Largely because this game is in Houston. The line is 47.5. Denver has won 5 straight. Now, at no point have they looked great, but they're getting wins. They are getting tremendous, however, production and turnovers. They are a plus 13 turnover margin in that 5-game winning streak. I think, however, that comes to an end here. I think that the Texans make big plays down the field. If you have Nico Collins in your flex, you're probably going to win your fantasy week this week. Tank Dell battling an injury, but I think he also manages to be productive. The Texans, however, are 2-11 as home favorites and are 0-3 against the spread this season. So while I think they win, I won't be surprised if they win by few as 1 point. This could literally be a game that's like 31-30. I'm not even joking when I say that. I think they blow right past the 47.5 over/under. So I'm taking the over. And though I think the Texans win, I think the Broncos will not allow them to cover. And that brings me to a less scintillating matchup, Panthers-Buccaneers. This should be a get-right game for the Buccaneers. The Panthers have struggled in every way the team would struggle. They're 1-5 as road underdogs. And when they won, it was, only one game was closer than 7 points. Frank Reich, of course, got fired, whether that's fair or not, once again, another discussion. That team is just bad in every way. I don't expect them to, I think the Buccaneers cover with, 3.5 is the line. I think that's almost like giving away money. I think the Buccaneers win this game by more than a touchdown. And I think they blow past the over-under, which is 36.5. So I'm taking both the Buccaneers and the over. And, of course, moving through some of the other interesting games, we have Browns 7-4 versus the 5-6 Rams. The Rams are a dangerous team. The Rams actually are favored in this game, partially because they don't trot out Joe Flacco at quarterback. He is 38 years old. He has not started consistently in several years. The Browns do have a really good defense, but they're 4th worst on offense. Cleveland averages 13 points per game when Deshaun Watson isn't out there. I think they make this game close, however, partially because the defense, I think Joe Flacco, basically keeps the truck out of the ditch. But I do think the Rams prevail. I'm probably taking the under. I think the over-under is 40. I'm taking the under here. I think that 37 points is going to be more than enough to win this game. I think the Rams get to 20 points. I think the Browns get to about 17. And so I guess maybe get to 13. 14. Maybe 14. I think the Rams do manage. Actually, the Rams may not cover. 4 seems like a little generous, but I'm definitely hammering the under. And then, but yeah, I have the Rams winning, but I think they win by less than 4. So I guess the Browns prevent the cover. The Chiefs at Packers is another, big-time game, mostly because I think the Chiefs start to put it together. It's a 6-point number, which I think they cover. I think they win by at least 7. 42.5 seems low to me. I think they get both the over and the win. The Chiefs are just 9-10 against the spread as a road favorite. I think that that will be rectified this week. I think they, like I said, they look better this week. If they looked better last week, they had their most productive game on offense, 31 points scored. I think they end up almost that many points scored this week. I think they score at least 27. I think the Packers end up with about 20. I think they cover, like I said. Bengals, Jaguars. Bengals are a very dangerous 5-6 team, and the Jaguars are kind of soft 8-3, but they are on a 2-6 straight up slide when Burrow isn't playing. He isn't going to play. They've scored 17 points or less in 6 out of 8 games. If they get to at least 17, Jacksonville is not a reliable favorite. They've scored 37 and 34 points in 2 of the last 3 home games, however. I think that they do get the win in the cover, though, in this game. No, I didn't get the cover. So maybe. I've gone back and forth with this. 8.5, man. If it was just 8, this would be easy. You know what? I'm going to just nut up. I think that the over is the play. 39 seems a bit low to me. And I'm going to go ahead and what am I going to do? I'm going to take the Jaguars to cover, but just barely. I think that ends up being about, say, 16 to 27. So, yeah, 11, that's a cover. And then the game that everyone's been waiting for, right? The big game. The 49ers going to Philadelphia. I don't think it's news to tell anybody that this game, the Eagles are playing an absolute murderer's row. They're coming off, but the 49ers are looking for, a quote-unquote revenge game. They come off extra rest. Philadelphia has a brutal stretch that they face the Dolphins, the Cowboys, the Chiefs, Bills, and now this. But Jalen Hurts is 17-1 straight up in the last 18 games played in Philadelphia. They score 28 points or more in almost every game. And San Francisco, people are saying they're the better team. I'm not so sure they're the better team. I'm still sticking with the Eagles, especially since they're getting 3 points. Giving the Eagles 3 points just seems insane to me. I think that even if they lose by less than 3. So I'm hammering the Eagles. And 47.5, that's probably about right. I think the Eagles eke out, and I mean literally eke out, a 24-23 win. So I guess that's under. So just barely the under by the hook. Those are my picks for Week 13, and I guess we'll see how I did when we get around to doing this later. Once again, Bill Carroll for Zinni62 Media.